What would you do if an elderly relative gave you an heirloom piece of furniture? I don't know, a beautiful clock. Well, obviously, not to hurt their feelings, you would have to repair it and keep it running and polish it and look after it, just as you would cherish and hand polish a beautiful piece of old furniture. But what if they gifted you a brick water cistern on the side of a hill? I mean, what on earth would you do with that? I know! You could live in it! Along this Herefordshire valley once ran a bustling steam railway from the late 1800s till the mid-20th century. Not that you'd know today, except that on a nearby hillside sits an engineering relic from this steam age, a disused water reservoir that once fed the thirsty steam engines running in the valley below. The reservoir and the surrounding fields are a special place for Rosa, whose family have lived in the valley for generations.
The fields overlook my mum's home, where she grew up, overlook my granddad's home, where he grew up. The reservoir and the fields to me mean everything. All my memories from every time I finished school, have my horse up here, ride around the fields. And then when I was young, Grandad used to take me up here every day when he used to pick me up from school.
Now elderly and living nearby, Grandad Leo is not in fact Rosa's relative, but became a grandfather figure to her when she was very young.
I don't actually remember life without him. He's just always been there, and I've always thought of him as my family, and he always will be my family. So he's such a fantastic man.
The family bought the reservoir and the surrounding fields from a local farmer, and Grandad Leo long dreamt of one day converting it into a home.
My granddad's always talked about one day we will have a home here. He'd always say, it'd never be in my lifetime, but one day you'll live up here. And I thought, okay, Grandad.
Blue sky thinking, perhaps. But then, Rosa, an audiologist, met Craig, a skydiving instructor.
So Craig's an avid skydiver. I say avid, does it pretty much 24/7 and in his sleep. And encouraged me, maybe forced me to do it.
She'd done a tandem skydive and then she was hooked from there onwards. Literally been all over the world skydiving together now as well.
Yeah. Terrified of flying though, still. Still terrified of flying.
Take your parachute with you.
Yeah.
Having conquered the skies, Rosa and Craig now have their sights set on a no less extreme challenge, the reinvention of the reservoir as their home.
I think it was about 6 months after we started seeing each other properly, wasn't it? Rosa brought me up here one day and I was instantly in love with the field, the reservoir and everything from that first moment.
It's not hard to see why. This has to be it. This has to be it because it's such a pretty place. There's just a sort of an amazing natural beauty. But how on earth Rosa and Craig transformed this subterranean industrial structure into a comfortable, light-filled home? I'm intrigued to find out. Hiya.
Hi, lovely to meet you. I'm Rosa.
Rosa.
I'm Craig.
Craig, how are you? Who's this chap?
This is Truffles.
Hello, Truffles. It looks like a military bunker, this little thing. A little, because it's all
It's like an air raid shelter.
Well, it is like an air raid shelter that's been fenced off.
It's been empty for about 10 years now.
Okay, so it belongs to the water board.
It was, yeah, till around the 1970s.
Can we get in?
Yes, let's go.
Oh, it's full of stuff.
Yeah.
It says in big letters there, danger. Where's safe to be? Am I okay here?
You're okay there, that's fine. You're not going to fall through.
How long has your grandfather been working on it?
at least 10, 15 years.
And he drained it of water, did he?
Yeah, well, he's written it on the board. 326 barrows of slurry that he got out from the bottom, carrying over his shoulder with a wheelbarrow
You're
and
joking.
a bucket. Yeah, on his own.
Can I get down?
Yeah.
Cool.
Ooh, it's vast. Come on down. What's that brick structure there?
So that is the inspection chamber from when it was a gravity-fed reservoir, and on top of it is a giant ballcock and float, like
That
you
we're
find in
keeping, yeah.
the toilet system.
Yeah.
And that is, both of those are staying. They're going to be a feature in the reservoir once it's
It's
built.
so giant, I hadn't actually clocked it. It's so big. Because at the moment, it's quite hard to imagine this place being lived in. You know what I mean? And it's quite hard imagining that it's going to have enough light in this hole in the ground.
But what we are doing on this side is cutting some holes into it and extending that side
Into
of the
the
building
hill.
into the
Yeah.
hill.
Punching through this structure is going to be that's going to be tough, I
Yeah.
I
imagine.
think so, yeah. Well, we thought that it was actually like concrete poured in, like formwork essentially, but we've done some ground investigation the other side of it, and it's stone.
Using rubble stone from the field,
Yeah.
literally.
From this field, yeah.
Amazing. How remarkable, you've got a stone building.
So people pay a lot of money for that finish, and when we cut out into the courtyard, we have it there already waiting for us.
Rosa and Craig have enlisted the architects Loyne and Co. to realise the transformation of the reservoir, and it's every bit as audacious as you might imagine. The first stage will be the excavation of 3,000 tons of earth, mostly from the hillside to the north, exposing some of the reservoir's stone walls for the first time. 3 large openings will be punched through the exposed flank wall, 2 for large picture windows, the third for a walkway to connect an entirely new all-concrete wing to house a dining room and the bedrooms. This new extension will be then part reburied under 200 tons of earth, so that it all but disappears into the hill. What remains exposed is the centerpiece, the reservoir. The dilapidated roof gets replaced with a super-insulated version on a new steel frame. Clear-story windows will slot between the original brick piers, and some half-moon curved glass walls will fill the gable ends. Inside, a sleek new mezzanine underneath the arched ceiling will connect via a steel-framed bridge to an airborne snug, from where there'll be some extraordinary views over the valley. The steel bridge structure also connects to a steel staircase that'll drop through the open space to one large kitchen and sitting room below, embellished with the reservoir's giant ballcock, and lit not just from above, but by the 2 enormous glazed openings that'll reveal a delightful new courtyard garden that'll sit at the heart of this home. The connecting walkway will tie the old reservoir to the new extension via a glass-walled dining room. Beyond it will lie the more private spaces in the concrete wing, a family bathroom and 4 bedrooms, the largest of which will be Rosa and Craig's. I do hope they have deep pockets, because I'd expect that pulling off this ambitious reinvention is going to cost well over £1 million. How much did it cost to get the land, if anything?
£800?
£800, yeah, just the changeover fees.
Wow, okay, to pass it into your title. That is the miracle
We're very blessed.
of living in a valley where your family have lived for however long.
Yeah.
Have you got a contractor organised for that?
Yeah, no.
Oh, right, nobody appointed yet.
No.
No.
Okay, when you do appoint a contractor, on what basis is it going to be? Is it going to be a full contractor that's going to do the whole thing?
Yeah, a full contract.
How much is it going to cost to do this? Do you know yet?
The contract value would be about 700,000.
What you're saying is you've got 700,000 that you want to spend.
Yes.
Yeah.
What happens if the contractor comes in and says 900?
And we'll have to rethink things, I suppose, because that is us like at the very limit of our
Is it?
Yeah.
funding source.
Okay, 700. So how much are you borrowing?
Around 500,000.
Yay, £500,000.
Yeah.
That's a lot by anybody's imagination, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
It means so much to us. It means so much to my family. We're not just building a house. We're building our future. We're building our children's future and their children's future.
But when do you actually start?
Start building in March next year.
When do you finish?
12 months we're given the project date for. That's the aim.
And if it's longer?
My granddad's health has deteriorated a lot, especially in the last 4 years. It would mean the world for me for him to be able to come up here and show him what we have done. So that is also a deadline as well. I want him.
You'd like him to see the finished house, yeah.
Yeah.
How old is he now?
He's 86 now.
Oh, well, he's,
Yeah.
he's a good ripe age. Yeah,
Yeah, good ripe age.
yeah. No, and then that would mean a great deal to him, I'm sure. Rosa and Craig will be living with Grandad Leo, the man whose idea this project was, until their new home's complete. So it's worth talking to him, and Rosa's mum, Tessa. Leo, when was the last time you were up there?
6 months ago.
Yeah.
To me, it's paradise, sir. It is paradise, you know.
When did you buy the field?
About 13 years ago. It was a
Yeah.
dream come true for Rosa to keep a horse on there.
So sort of Rosa was sort of part of the reason for buying it in the first place, in
yes,
fact.
yes.
So she was always involved, in other words. So she was always
She
part
was
of
the
it.
boss.
She was the boss.
Good little girl.
It must be pretty exciting to think of Rosa actually getting planning permission, actually doing it.
It was unbelievable. Out of this world. She
It
was.
was your dream come true, wasn't it? That one day we thought, not in my lifetime, she might get permission.
No, that was marvellous.
To be fair, I have to keep pinching myself, and I don't think I can really believe it now. I think she's done it, wow. And I think it's the next chapter for the reservoir. It'll breathe new life into it.
It's up to them now, you know. It's there. I wouldn't want to interfere with.
Our dreams come true.
While Rosa and Craig wait for quotes to come in, they form an access track from the reservoir to the nearest road.
First bit of work that we're starting on site, we're starting with removing a 50-metre section of hedge before we can create the access to come into the field before the construction actually happens. It's costing about £600 in total, so pretty good.
But any optimism about cost evaporates when the builder's quotes start coming in. Way above the £700,000 Rosa and Craig can just about afford.
Highest tender out of 3 that came back was 1.4 million, and then our cheapest one out of the 3 was 1.1 million, which again is ridiculous.
It's a hammer blow to their dreams.
Not in a million years we thought that they would come back at what they did. We can't afford it. If you'd said to me, this is how much this house is going to cost, this is how much, you know, the dream that you've both got is going to be, we would have said no. There's no way. There's just no way that we can do it.
But all that was before sadness filled their lives.
I feel very sad because it's all this stuff, and his bike that's in there and everything. All his cards that I've ever written him, all saying Grandad, all his pictures. He's got everything in there that he's ever kept. I just feel so proud to actually be his granddaughter.
Grandad Leo, the inspiration behind so much of this project, passed away suddenly in late December.
It was a complete shock. It was on the Tuesday he was fine, and then on the Wednesday he wasn't. We had the horses, they come down, and all the dogs were with him, and me and my mum were with him, and then he quietly just slipped away then.
The desire to honour Leo's memory suddenly becomes a powerful motivator.
The land, it does take on a different meaning to me. I think we are doing the right thing by building his home. It's what I always spoke about with him. We are going to live there because I almost see it as his legacy.
But how on earth they're going to pick up the project from here, I have no idea. A full year since I met Rosa and Craig, a year of emotional recovery and financial head-scratching. A colossal earth excavation has begun next to the old Herefordshire Railway reservoir that's been stripped back to a bare shell.
It's absolutely massive down there.
It is massive. All
The
space.
footprint of that is bigger than the house we're in at the moment.
After protracted negotiations, Rosa and Craig managed to get the construction price down to £950,000, primarily by compromising on the exterior landscaping. But they're still spending 250 grand more than they wanted.
I'm not going to lie, like I have had sleepless nights thinking about, are we actually able to achieve this, or are we going to put ourselves into bankruptcy because of it? And I don't think Rosa kind of sees that at times. She's just like, oh, it'll be all right in the end, it'll be all right in the end. But there's serious consequences to taking out loans and mortgages and borrowing money off people. You know, you've got to pay it back at some point.
Grandad Leo bequeathed his home to Rosa, the sale of which will help cover some of the extra costs. But they still need to borrow an extra 100 grand from the bank, a whopping 600 grand in total, at a time when another life-changing development is on the horizon.
We're now expecting a little baby in about 3 months' time. Just to add to the absolute terror that I'm feeling already.
The financial stakes couldn't be higher. Yet, after just 5 weeks, the excavation phase is complete, and the builders are cutting out the 3 huge holes in the reservoir's flank wall for the picture windows and walkway. Seeing the reservoir exposed to the elements for the first time, hello, is quite a sight.
Hey!
This is astonishing, isn't it?
Yes, it's outstanding.
I was prepared for this, but it's so strong and it looks so much like a proper house, a building.
I just love the stonework on it. I think it's beautiful.
It's remarkable. It's like you built a house in the 18th century and then buried it and then uncover it. There's one thing I'm dying to do, and it wasn't ever possible before, and that is to actually enter a building. I mean, before we were climbing down a ladder into a hole. Oh yeah. Oh, this is a ready-made house. So different. This is magnificent. So thinking about this, you're not building a house, I've just realized. This is archaeology, excavation, civil engineering, landscaping, new build, repair and restoration. Yeah? So no wonder it's costing what it's costing. A terrifying £950,000. Which reminds me, how on earth are Rosa and Craig intending to service a 600 grand mortgage in the height of COVID and with a nipper due in 3 months?
So the start of the pandemic, Craig started up a business that we're working from home. So we've done an online confectionery shop. So
Really? Yeah. See, it's so obvious for a skydiver to do that.
we had to get creative, didn't we?
Online sweeties.
Yeah.
You're going to have to sell a lot of sherbet dabs, aren't you, to pay for anything like this? How amazing! Is it going to make a serious contribution to the house?
It will help during COVID times, definitely.
OK, God help your baby child.
I know.
You're going to have to put a lock on that door, aren't you?
He'll be the coolest kid in the school, though.
The coolest kid would be the fattest. Well, I hadn't seen that one coming.
There we go.
3 months into their anticipated 12-month project, they start on the reservoir's new earth-sheltered wing, made from exposed concrete. It'll house the dining room and bedrooms and cost £260,000.
Once you come out of there, we'll go around the back and we'll just double check off the back again.
Naturally, Rosa and Craig want the concrete to look as smooth and as beautiful as possible, which is why they've employed Darren, who has a fine pedigree in the field, having helped build the Welsh Assembly in Cardiff.
They brought in a new specification especially for that job. It's basically because it was all exposed concrete, they wanted to take it to the next level of exposed concrete.
So this is cabinet-making level of joinery. And this is
Yes.
really, really precise
Yeah.
and beautiful and detailed.
We really pride ourselves on these types of projects. Yeah, we're building this house for somebody who's going to live here in the generations to come, their family, their grandchildren. If you put that time and effort and love into it, you can make something special.
But not everyone here is convinced that exposed concrete is the right material to build a home with.
Teletubby house, really, innit? It's under the ground. It's all going to be buried. I don't know, not for me. I think it's just a multi-storey car park at the end of the day, innit? It's that, I don't like it. That's me.
But Rosa and Craig's architects, Loyne & Co., have established an award-winning reputation designing earth-sheltered homes from concrete, including this one, 80 miles away on the Gower Peninsula. You know, if James Bond ever retired and took up organic gardening, he'd live here. This is a hunkered lair. This is a very different building to Rosa and Craig's, but I mean, it's also hunkered into a hill, yeah?
It is. And the driving force for all of our architecture is context. A lovely Frank Lloyd Wright quote, a house should not be on a hill, it should be of the hill. Hill and house, the better for each other. I mean, when you're in Gower, it's the landscape, I mean, it's an area of outstanding natural beauty that's so important. And instead of putting on the site, we lift the site up, we insert, and we put the site back.
Yeah.
Therefore, we're taking nothing and we're giving something.
Boy, is this place beautiful. I mean, it's exquisite. It is cherished. And it makes this fantastic connection to its context, its setting. And it has one other quality, which is that it's finished. Whereas Rosa and Craig's house clearly is not. I mean, it's just as ambitious in a way as this building is. It shares some of the same DNA, the same architect. But their resources, of course, are finite. And at the moment, well, at the moment, their project is more mud than concrete. But mud and concrete will have to wait. Meet baby Leo.
He was born on the 6th of April at 6:46 and he weighed £8 4 ounce.
It was a bit of a chunk.
Yeah. Oh, here he is, right on cue.
Even though my grandfather's here in spirit, he's also here in baby name.
He's going to grow with the structure now as it starts to come out from the foundation.
Hang on, he better be in before he's walking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crawling.
Crawling.
Just as well, then, that the first concrete walls of the bedroom wing are ready to be admired.
Oh my God.
It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, that is absolutely amazing. Feel
Got
it.
to touch it. Yeah, it's
God,
lovely, isn't
that
it?
feels so soft. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so excited for the whole...
Do you like it, Leo? It's going to be your nursery. Compared to brick and mortar, it's about 10 times the price. And you get what you pay for, though, I suppose. Just want to get it finished now and get in and live in here with him. Do you know what I mean? We've obviously sold the house and moved in with Rosa's mum now, so it's more of a reason to get this done on time and kind of move in and have our own space with Leo.
By May, a mere 6 weeks since Darren's team started, the concrete extension is complete. So what does Rosa's mum, Tessa, make of it?
Who would ever have thought that that has been buried for all those years? And it's part of our family, and I look at that as the older generation.
Then what's to come is, you know, represents the new life, the next generation kind of thing.
Exactly, because my heart is in here.
Yeah.
Then I look at that. I can't quite feel the connection, what I feel to this building.
Now, what do you think Leo, were he around now, would think of this?
Oh my goodness, he would have probably thought like me.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure Leo wouldn't perhaps have liked that. Just looks like a bunker.
Even more pressure then on getting the renovation of Leo's beloved reservoir right. Rosa and Craig are going to have to make this place true to Leo somehow. Over 18 months since Rosa and Craig began their Herefordshire Reservoir project, the concrete extension is being buried under 200 tons of earth.
The shore ends that way, Craig.
Meanwhile, the reservoir's transformation into a serious bit of contemporary architecture kicks off with the installation of the first floor steel frame. It'll be the jewel in the crown of the new reservoir, creating the dramatic entrance, the bridge, and the steel staircase to the living space below. The pressure's now on for Rosa, Craig, and baby Leo to move in 6 months. Until then, they're living with Rosa's mum, Tessa.
That looks like chocolate. Oh, I know, it looks like them gold bullions, doesn't it?
Oh no. Oh no. Oh, that's disgusting.
It's proving to be a bit of a squeeze.
I'd have tiles.
We're not having tiles. We've gone through that. It's not your house.
No, true.
You can't have tiles, can you?
No.
We're so grateful that at the same time we are living on top of each other. It's very, every conversation is a three-way conversation.
You can have garden floor tiles.
And we don't like any.
Or use ordinary bricks.
We just covered that about 2 minutes ago. So it would be so great to have our own space. I do also think how we're going to afford to get to the end of the build. And whenever I speak to Craig about it, he always says that's future us problems.
Money worries are a big part of their lives now. They're spending 50 grand alone on the reservoir's new steel-framed roof, being fabricated 15 miles away in Hereford.
My God, that is very thick.
It's pretty big, isn't it? I mean, I don't think the roof's going anywhere anytime soon with those.
Is this a roof or a bunker?
I reckon we could survive a hurricane with that roof, the way it's been built.
Yeah, that's where your money's gone.
Indeed. Financing a 950 grand project, plus fees, is starting to take its toll.
So that's where we're at with the figures. It's pretty sickening, 720,000. We've got no windows or doors.
Or roof.
Or roof.
I've got no windows, door, or a roof for that. You know, when like you've always said to me, oh, this is like future us problems. I feel like future us is now current us. There's nothing we can do. We can't change anything now. Like you say, we are fully committed, but it's spiraled. We could have bought 3 houses for that. I just don't see how we've spent that much money.
But proper architecture rarely comes cheap. Come the autumn, the roof's curved steel frame is ready to go in, with the help of the odd podger or two.
A podger is a marvellous invention. It's a pointy spanner, so when you've got sort of half a hole lined up, you can put the podger in and just use it to wiggle the steel around and align the hole so the bolt slides straight through.
Feels wonky.
It does look wonky, doesn't it? I was actually just thinking that. I think it's just the way we're looking at it. If you stand at this angle, it looks all right.
By November, almost 2 years since they began this scheme,
Inside's amazing, honestly.
the reservoir's vaulted roof's been skinned out with plasterboard to epic effect. Oh, my word, it's a world of pink.
Yeah, look at it.
What do you call this area? Airborne snug?
Airborne snug.
It's somewhere to sit and watch the sun go down, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I mean, lovely. Lovely.
So have a coffee in the mornings up here looking out there, I think, as well.
Yeah, for sure.
It's amazing, like, how your love for the building and everything changes and how it's actually progressed of how the buildings come on. You form a different connection with it. And that's what I feel we formed a new connection as a family, the way that it started to come together now. And even though it's the shape of the old reservoir, we've almost put our own take on it.
Of course, Rosa and Craig won't be moving in by Christmas as they dearly hoped. The house is nowhere near watertight yet. But that's the least of their worries. So how is the money?
As in how much it's going to cost to finish it? 250,000, I believe.
It's all within your reach, this. You can afford it all.
There's still a deficit of about 50,000 because of the kitchen and bathrooms weren't in the contract, so we've had to pay for that on top of the contract. We've used the mortgage money to pay for that, which means that when it gets to the last month of paying for the site, you're going to have around 50,000 from somewhere to pay for that. That problem's 8-12 weeks away. So.
All right. See, this is partly the curse of legacy, isn't it?
Yeah.
That you inherit something very beautiful, and you have to honour it.
Yeah.
You have to do something properly because the site demands that.
If I'd known how much this was ever going to cost in the first place, we'd have never done it. But we're committed now. Live with our decisions.
Alas, the project is entering its perilous phase.
Right, let me boom out.
86 grand's worth of high-spec glazing starts getting installed in December.
If I move that back now, it's going to pull the top out as well, isn't it? I'll start bringing it back up now, then, don't we?
The picture window for the living space is the largest, while between the reservoir's original brick piers, 12 rectangular slot windows are going in.
Yep. Right.
Right, to your right.
Meanwhile, on top of the now insulated steel roof, they're fitting new curved aluminium sheets to match the reservoir's original. But come the new year, green shoots on sight belie troubling news. Rosa and Craig have run out of money.
We couldn't pay one of the bills which we owed the builders. There was a misunderstanding around the VAT situation for the build. Last month, just before Christmas, we were told that the whole build would have to pay 5% VAT, of about 50,000 that we've had to find on top.
They've been forced to borrow an additional 80 grand from the bank, but there's so much this won't cover. Oak flooring and a balustrade for the mezzanine, the steel stairs, decorating and the courtyard landscaping.
The amount of debt that we've taken on is horrendous. Like, I never thought I'd take on this amount of debt to be able to finish the project. And it's actually sickening. The whole time of the build, this has been the most stressful point for us.
1843 or 1840 we got.
You don't want it tight, do you?
1, 2, 3.
One thing they can still afford is the curved glazing for the reservoir's gable ends, which means the building is finally watertight. And Rosa, Craig, and no longer a baby Leo are able to move into the far from complete home. It's not ideal.
Come on, climb under.
It does make me more aware time passing because Leo is growing up and I feel like the build is at a standstill. Priorities in life change as Leo's come along. I'm more focused on now spending time as a family doing this with Leo and not thinking, oh no, I need to paint that wall tonight or today.
But painting is exactly what they have to do.
It's fun though, isn't it? It's fun painting.
And lots of it.
Tickle on Leo's tummy.
Well, it's not how it was meant to turn out, and we still look at like the amount we've got to do on the house. We don't have the money to finish it at the moment. Having that like looming over us is quite, yeah, it's daunting.
But come the summer of 2023,
Forward.
there's a sudden flurry of activity. A steel staircase with oak treads is being fitted in the reservoir. And the courtyard is getting landscaped.
So we went to our family to try and get more money basically, and everybody's chipped in, and that's going to allow us to finish the project hopefully to a decent standard.
And to save money, Craig's getting stuck in as well.
The builders wanted 25,000 to fit the floor in. By doing it myself and using my friends to help me with the labour, I think I've brought in about 14,000, so...
Yeah, it's better, isn't it?
Yeah. It's been nice to be able to get my dad, who's an engineer as well, to actually come up and give me a hand and do the flooring with me. It's hard work, I think he's found that out today.
I have put oak flooring down in my own house, but nothing like the thickness of this. This is another level, this is industrial level.
It's been that long since we started. I just want to enjoy the house and relax now. Looks amazing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
After 3.5 tortuous years, will Grandad Leo's legacy finally be realised? This secluded corner of Herefordshire is magnificent, and it's where Rosa and Grandad Leo long ago dreamt of transforming their abandoned and much-loved railway reservoir into a home. It's nearly 4 years since Rosa and her partner Craig set out to do just that. So has the reservoir's radical reinvention finally come good? Well, I could swear that when I first came here all those years ago, that roof was green. Of course it was green. That's a new roof. That's not an industrial structure anymore. That is a new building. Yet one that, in honour of its heritage, looks from outside much like it did when I first came here. Well, I say it's a new building, but actually I think the brickwork and the stonework, that was always here. And as for the roof, I mean, it's an exact reproduction in crinkly tin. So this building, it appears really, really modest until you turn the corner, and then it starts getting really interesting. Look at that. The great curving black shapes of the roof gables now form a powerful viewing frame for the landscape. And they tease glimpses of the interior too. Hello, you two.
Hi.
Look at you. Look at your house. You must be dead chuffed.
Yeah, so happy. Yeah, so nice to be in and finished. We have to pinch ourselves when we pull up in the drive and walk down here and get that view every single day.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't feel real.
It doesn't feel like an old building. It feels like at home. Like I said, it feels like we lived there forever. Like it was completely meant to be.
Well, I mean, look, congratulations, because there's something about this building which I think is very spectacular, which bears no relation to how it was, and that is that you can look through what appears to be a glass building supporting a tin roof. It's very simple, but it's very, very elegant. It's like a sort of black rainbow.
The curved roof's amazing. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
Even better inside as well.
Well, come on then, let's have a look inside. Oh. Oh. Wow. That's epic. It's so clear and clean. Beautiful sheer surface. To have this sort of uninterrupted view without kind of bracing or anything like that. Just this curve of the roof. But there's plenty of fun here. I mean, the balustrade is just a transparent piece of glass, nothing else. And that thing, the magnificent bullcock.
And actually, it's a really big talking point. Everybody that comes round asks about it, and it is just a reminder of what the building once was and what it has become now.
It's actually quite nice when you come in here. People don't even see the staircase because of this view. Draws the eye almost across the bridge.
Yeah, it's like a runway, this, isn't it? Kind of inviting you to land, taking you to, what's this place called over here?
Takes you to the Airborne Snug.
Airborne Snug. Yeah. That's very nice. It's all about that uninterrupted view out. Brilliant.
This is my favourite spot of the house because I can see where my granddad grew up, I can see where my mum grew up, so it's so meaningful.
I just don't think there can be many families who can look out of their window and have these memories planted into the landscape and associated with it. It stops just being a beautiful place and becomes a meaningful place, doesn't it?
When he was cleaning out the reservoir, this is where he used to sit and have his lunch every day, so this was his part of the reservoir, so that's why it's also so important.
Yeah, wow. Feel the energy, eh?
I do miss him so much, but there's so many reminders every day.
The mezzanine triumphs in honouring this family's personal history. But how has their architect, Chris Loyne, fared in transforming the reservoir's once dark, dank lower reaches into something habitable? OK, down we go. The next chapter, my goodness me. It's another world down here, isn't it? I thought it would feel a little bit subterranean. But it's the opposite. You come down, the building actually opens out more. And not a hint that you're in any way buried. It's really terrific.
This space is better than I ever imagined it to be down here. I think having that double height space makes it as well. Having the open air, being able to see the roof from down here still as well.
Yeah.
That's an important point, isn't it? Because if the bridge were a mezzanine, if it were covering half of the ceiling, you wouldn't get the light in from the ends or from both sides, from these clear story windows. It would be darker. And that marble, my goodness me. Where's that from? I mean, which weird mountain?
I think it's Italian.
Italian, it is Italian, yes.
In the Black Bat Mountains somewhere of the Urals, whatever it is. It's crazy, isn't it?
I love it. It's so striking, and it really gives you the wow factor when you walk down.
What's really interesting, though, is that sometimes people take old buildings and they do them up and they kill the building. You know what I mean? And here, what Chris has done is basically just knock the building around, punch big holes in the sidewalls, create open garden spaces where there were none, and yet still the building says, no, I'm still here. It's as if Chris knew what the buried power of the old structure was, knew it needed the courtyard to humanise it, and the new connecting spaces like the dining room. It's very generous, you know?
It is, isn't it? Is this the connection point?
Yet the most startling views are out. Back to the reservoir, to the stone walls so carefully repointed, and to the superb courtyard garden. Well, what a delight that is. You've put these great gabions in, all of them.
Yeah, 11 metres of gabion baskets.
Oh, wow.
All that stone came out of here when we dug out.
Seriously? I have to remind myself that a whopping 3,000 tons of stone and earth were excavated to make way for the courtyard and the concrete extension. So, down the corridor, this is really properly new wing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we're into the new wing now.
All in poured concrete. It's sheer and perfect. Like a hotel. Rooms off here include a spare room and, of course, a bedroom for the toddler. Leo. But the highlight is Rosa and Craig's. This is your room at the end, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, with its own walk-in, what's that? A kind of rainy shower. It's built in.
Yes, it's
Right.
rainfall.
Wow. And what's the other side? That's the loo, is it?
Yeah, that's the toilet.
Nice.
Yeah, I do love this room. It's the most concrete that you can see in any room. We just walked in here and we were like, you can't cover that up.
It's too good.
Yeah, it's too good. We love it.
Yeah. No, this is generally better quality than you find in your average car park. And I'd be really happy waking up to that in the morning. And you step out onto a beautifully polished concrete floor. This is super glamorous, particularly this side, you know? I mean, in fact, the whole thing is bloody super glamorous. The moment you walk in, it's glamorous, you know? I mean, there's so many things that make you feel just better and more, do you know what I mean? More...
Yeah.
I'm just happy to be in here and living here. It's just enjoying it and sitting back and taking it all in.
Remarkably, they've done it. Thanks in no small part to Grandad Leo, whose generosity contributed so much to the construction of this remarkable home.
Leo, he loved this building. He knew every stone in this building. He lived and he breathed it.
So what do you think he would have made of it now?
He would have been absolutely over the moon with it.
When we last talked, you were quite dismissive of the concrete.
I was, but now I understand it represents our family. I feel that Leo and I are in this old bit, and I feel that tucked in beside it there looks a cheeky building with a big smile on its face, and it's shining, and it reminds me of Rosa. And it reminds me of how Rosa and Craig met, captured each other's hearts, and along came Leo.
Yeah.
And I think the courage and determination that they have shown to see this building through is absolutely wonderful. I am so proud of them. They've given this building its life back. And what greater gift can you give than that?
Yeah, indeed. But my, pulling it off has exacted its toll on Rosa and Craig. Nearly 4 years to get to this point, 3 more than anticipated, and a stomach-churning financial burden. First of all, congratulations for finishing, because I think anybody who can finish a house these days is a miracle worker.
Thank you.
Tell me, though, about the money. You thought originally 700,000.
I think build cost alone is just over $1 million.
Plus all your prelims and your architect's fees and your engineers and
us up to about 1.2, I think.
Yeah,
including that. And a mortgage of 600,000. We then borrowed another 80,000. We had about 100,000 of our own money, and then unfortunate circumstances around Rosa's granddad passing away helped us basically finish the build.
So were you able to make up all that you needed thanks to Leo, or have you had to go elsewhere as well?
We've had to go elsewhere. We've had to borrow every friend and every family member and on both sides of the family since. But.
Yeah.
So you're spending a few grand a month, at least, on your mortgage.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous amount of money. It's way more than we ever thought we would spend or wanted to spend. But
It's horrendous, because I think if you'd said to me 4 or 5 years ago, this is the amount of money that you're going to spend, I said, no way.
It's not a decision we've made lightly, having to get ourselves in this much debt, but it's worth it, definitely.
Yeah, so nice having our own bubble here. It really does feel like that.
Seeing how happy little Leo is running around, just getting to chase him and see his face, I'm just like, this is it, this is why we've done it, I think.
Yeah, and actually little Leo is starting to learn. We tell him about my granddad, and we actually tell him about the buckets of slurry that he'd done, and we've got a picture that my granddad wrote of it. And actually, if you ask Leo, he'll say, "Granddad did that."
Thanks to Rosa and Craig's epic efforts, the family's relationship with this beguiling landscape has been safeguarded with a home. You know, as long as I've known this project, I've thought there's a problem associated with it, to do with the fact that it was Leo who planted the original idea in Rosa's mind that something magical could be done with this site. And as a consequence, I think she felt the burden of having to do something important here, of remembering him, of honouring his memory in architecture and producing something of real worth. And you know, in doing that, it nearly broke her and Craig financially. But I'm so pleased they succeeded. I'm so pleased they finished, because what it does so brilliantly is not simply remember the man whose idea it was, but also embody the imagination of Craig and Rosa. Amazing what families can do, isn't it? You know, architecture isn't just there to protect us. It's there also to comfort us. Great buildings can reaffirm ideas. They can restore old memories. They can change the way we look at the world, even how we look at ourselves. Ironically, those experiences can also often be found in the simplest of buildings. I mean, take this tree house, for example. I mean, it is bound, isn't it, to evoke childhood memories of waking up in the canopy of the forest in the wilderness, you know? And yet, when we start to build, when we have to deal with kitchens and lighting and building regulations and planning and mortgages, then it is so easy, amidst all the stress and the pain and the financial worry, for these big ideas to be crushed, to be lost. The architecture of innocence is not easy. There are some among us who are built to succeed. People who have an incredible potential to achieve.
I am a grafter. If I get focused on something, I do go for that. Get stuck in. My mum and father split up when I was probably around 3. Brought up predominantly by my mum. I didn't really know my father growing up. I've looked to my mum as a role model. Absolutely a grafter. Worked multiple jobs, and I look back in awe really as to how she managed it.
Danny is the deputy principal of a large vocational college in North Lincolnshire, where he's lived all his life. He now has 3 children from 2 past relationships.
Casey's my oldest. He lives with me. Grace and Lucas, I have them a few nights in the week.
Danny may not have known his own father, but being a parent is a role he takes very seriously.
They are my world. My life revolves around them, and what I've tried to do as a father now is to be the best father I can be.
He's now planning to build a new home for his children to grow up in, within the 2-acre garden of their current house.
So this house is going to be a framework for my children's childhood. It's that hub for us all, just to come together as a family and just to enjoy our time.
Keep it tight and then turn that. Good luck.
But Danny's dreams of perfect childhood for his family will be governed by one very practical truth: money.
I'll do. Good girl.
I've got a little bit of a reputation for being what I like to call frugal. You know, that comes from growing up and not having stuff and not having money and not having excess. And that's ingrained. That will never go. I don't have hundreds of thousands of pounds in a savings account, but I'm quietly determined that I'm going to get there.
Money may worry him, but Danny does already own the land for this project, and that's a big advantage.
So this is a site.
Right on the edge of the village.
Yeah, it's surrounded by fields really, all the way round.
Beautiful. Belter of a site, I have to say. So there's your bungalow right back there, yeah?
That's right.
Did this land come with the bungalow?
Yes, it did, yeah.
So the house, to me, looks as though it ought to sit. It's round about here, you know, you drive in, there you are, and you've got these long views to the south.
It's not going to be here, it's going to be further down the site.
Nestled in among the trees?
Absolutely, yeah.
Come on then, let's go and have a look at it. Oh, it's so pretty. This site seems to grow as you move through it. Oh, that's nice. There's a beach and a couple of sycamores and the pond. It's a delight.
Yeah, yeah. From what I've been told, the chap who lived here, I think his wife wasn't best pleased that he went out fishing all the time, so he said, OK. So he built himself a pond. There's loads of carp and loads of fish.
So do all of those trees stay?
They all stay, and they actually form a really nice natural boundary to the house where it's going to nestle in. It's that sort of tree house concept we've gone for.
So you're able to build without having to destroy too much?
The house is about the site, you know, it's not just house, it's actually the site, and I really want to sort of protect the site. Where that large walnut tree is, there's going to be a really large timber garage.
So you're not integrating the garage into the house deliberately?
Separate. For the children to be able to grow up in an area like this is a real opportunity.
But they've already got this? They
can
already come down here.
It's a different experience. So rather than coming down here to play, we will be living down here.
It's going to be quite an exciting place to live, isn't it? Dynamic. Danny's architect, Kate Kelly, had to produce a spectacular nature-friendly design to satisfy the planners and her client. They'll start on site by pouring one large slab and 12 small pads that'll support steel stilts to hold up a set of 3 treetop pods. Steel will also support a deck cantilevered out over the pond to connect house, water and wildlife. Precise prefabricated timber panels will then be brought in and assembled at speed to form the main body of the house, as well as the walls and roofs of those treetop bedroom pods. Glazing will be critical for a building all about connection. Bifold doors will open to drink the views south and west, while the bedroom pod windows will offer bird-eyed views of branches and the leaf canopy. This home is not greedy, and the interior will be compact and controlled. The main building will have a ground floor living space with a kitchen, dining area, and a small utility and toilet. Above this will sit the main ensuite bedroom and a family bathroom. You'll access the 3-bedroom pods across a glazed corridor, seemingly open to the trees as if a bridge. There's no plumbing on this side, just electric power connecting the pods to the main house. Such is the simplicity of design. A simplicity that extends to the exterior cedar cladding, that wraps these shapes in the familiar language of timber sheds and childhood tree houses. It won't be fussy, but it will be architecturally ambitious, and ambition rarely comes cheap. So this, quite idyllic site. This is free, but to build the house itself, do you know how much you're going to have to spend?
I'm budgeting about £300,000.
Which is okay. It's not going to provide you with luxury.
I don't want luxury. I want the house to do what it wants for me and the family, so I don't want designer and anything fancy. It needs to be very service our needs, so I'm very confident we can bring it within that budget.
Where does the money come from?
Selling the bungalow should release a couple hundred in total, and then looking at funding the rest with a self-build mortgage.
You top up from 200 to 350 with £150,000 of self-build mortgage.
From 200 to 300.
200 to 300.
Don't add 50 grand on it. Yeah.
Have I already increased the budget to 350?
Yeah, no, it's not.
Amazing, is it? Why did I do that, I wonder?
I wonder.
Yeah. When do you think you'll finish?
In my mind, I'm thinking it'll be about a year.
3 months later, Danny's bungalow has sold, and he's now waiting for the delivery of his new temporary accommodation.
Yes.
And his mum, Sue, is with him for moral support.
What's your concerns? Are you nervous? What could possibly go wrong?
The fact the caravan won't fit and I've spent £6 grand and wasted my money, that could go wrong.
Danny's site does suffer from a long, narrow access track. Not great for manoeuvring 6 grand caravans.
Just touching a pole. At least we're in. Cracking job.
We're in! Yeah!
And now it's getting it down to the second part, which I'm slightly nervous about now, given how tight it was there, so.
Are we just twisting it this way a bit, yeah?
Soon, the whole community is out to help.
And I'm just going to knock that corner off there. We passing that? Oh, that's good. Loads of room, mate. Keep going. Slow down.
Watch the back edge, he's going to reverse on. We're on a bit of an angle. Push!
With some serious Lincolnshire muscle and only a few battle scars, the family's new home arrives on site. But a month later, the only person living in this well-travelled caravan is Danny's eldest son, Casey.
Quite extravagant, you can see.
Lucas, can I have the hairbrush, please?
Danny has Lucas and Grace 3 days a week, so he's made the wise decision to stay with his mum, a few miles from site.
So this is where I and the kids sleep. I sleep on the floor here. But yeah, we're all together, aren't we? Which you don't like, because then I can make you go to bed.
As a self-confessed minimalist,
Put the cat light money box down, Grace.
living in this museum of knickknacks can't be easy for Danny.
My house, it's fair to say, won't look like this. I think I'm probably quite clinical and decluttered because of this. It's all lovely stuff, don't get me wrong. There's just a lot of it. Who needs 10 spatulas? That's what I say.
Work only begins on site early in the new year.
Now we've broken ground, now the guys are on site, there's a real momentum.
Danny wants to be closely involved with this project, but he has engaged Mike Hill, a professional project manager, who should help to keep things broadly on track.
It is a lifetime home for Danny, so I think he decided that project management was probably the better way to go. Overall, the savings we will make will certainly be more than the fees we charge.
Mike may fight to protect the £300,000 budget, but when it comes to digging holes in the ground, there's always the potential for a few nasty surprises.
According to the plans, there's a high pressure mains sewer run under the site somewhere, so if we come across that, we've got a problem.
One dink with a digger and things could get messy.
Just hoping that it's not going to get in our way. If we find it, we're going to have a big rethink.
As they work carefully, the diggers do unearth some good news. A large seam of limestone sitting just 1.5 metres below the surface. So that means much less concrete for this sustainable woodland home.
Quite unusual for the area. It's either clay, running sand or bad ground in this area. So having this stone layer down there is a real bonus and quite a cost saving for Danny.
Now, Danny can only hope that the sewer pipe stays undisturbed. Danny's reimagined tree dweller's house is still very much firmly stuck in the ground. 2 days in, and it's safe to say the £300,000 budget is already under threat from the possibility of a main sewer line running through the site.
There will literally be a shower of shit, and it will cost me money.
The exact position of this pipe is not recorded. But the following morning, with the excavation coming to an end, it's clear the pipe will stay hidden.
I was a little bit nervous about it, only in terms of the repercussions of the time and obviously the inevitable cost as well.
So I'll be honest, it'll be the cost that'll check Danny.
I'm just pleased we haven't found it, so we can spend money on other things.
Spend money? I would certainly do that for you.
Yeah, I know you can.
Just a few days in, it's already clear that Danny's frugality will be a big influence on this project.
Well, we're not using a pump because it'll cost more money, and we can do it this way. It's a lot cheaper and more cost effective.
By not using a pump, they'll save almost £500. But then, managing budgets is something Danny does really well. He's the deputy principal of one of the largest vocational colleges in the country, and he deals with some eye-watering sums.
As an organisation, we have an income of around 50 million. We've got 1,200 staff across multiple sites. It's massive.
A one-time student, then teacher, Dan is now charged with the continued success of this huge organisation.
So, this is the nacelle. Talk me through it.
What it's doing is replicating the inside of a wind turbine, essentially.
An organisation that's training the workforce of tomorrow.
There's a lot to think about, a lot of stakeholders, employers, parents, students, staff. You constantly have to problem solve, deal with issues. It's tough. The two tough things, building a house and working in the high-pressured, challenging environment like education. It's not easy.
Of course, all this is made more difficult when you're sleeping on the floor of your mother's attic. This has to be Sue's house. I thought I'd drop in on his new landlady. Hello? Sue? To find out where Danny's conviction for this project comes from. Wow! What a place! His childhood here, I mean, he was in a house of women.
Yes.
Because his father was absent.
He sort of had to grow up really quick.
Yeah.
Because he was the man of the house.
Just tell me about life as a young mum.
It was very, very hard, and it wasn't easy, and the kids did miss out on a lot. Danny's seen how hard I had to work. I think it's made him realise that you've got to work for what you want.
Do you think he's trying to recapture, or at least trying to create the missing bits of his own childhood?
Yes, I do. Yes, I seriously do.
But it seems that rebuilding that childhood is taking longer than Danny thought. 6 months into a year-long schedule, and at last the steel has arrived.
It's been a little bit frustrating, just some of the drawings and fine details really with the engineering aspect of it. Probably taken a few months longer than we expected, but I think it's really important to get that right. Mistakes on paper is obviously a lot cheaper than mistakes in reality, so...
Steel is unforgiving.
Steady away.
And it'll need to be worked with millimetre precision.
Well, we're not 100% sure where it goes. We've got a dimension from that post there, but I don't think it's right.
It's called fudging, isn't it?
Yeah.
Fudging about.
After some gentle fudging...
It's on the concrete, so it's painful.
The cantilever for the deck is secured, and the steel struts are up.
What do you think to the steelwork then?
It's cool, it's big.
So the whole project really centres around the children. This home is for them, really. Lucas... Right, don't destroy the house before it's actually built.
Danny's house won't be the first home to harness the strength of steel to lift a building's aspirations. In Berkshire, there is a quite remarkable house designed by the architect John Pardee, a house raised on steel. It's a floating house. This striking new home demonstrates the drama of suspended living.
The building doesn't look as though it's being held up by these great pylons. It looks instead as though it's being tethered down, a bit like a balloon.
38 columns create a transparent footprint and allow an understanding of what the site was like before there was even a building here.
Of course, Danny's place is a sort of half and half house, because one half of it, of course, is rooted to the ground, and the other half, like this, is taking off. Apart from getting this kind of through view at ground floor, which you'll get at his place, I'm guessing that the first floor engagement with the landscape is going to be even better.
How beautiful. It's a great window down there. It just draws you on. The interiors are simple and elegant, amplified by the treetop views that characterize every room. Danny's design aspires to this natural connection, but this place is elevated for a serious reason.
We're in a floodplain, we're in a natural floodplain,
And we're 2.5 metres up off the ground. And it does flood nearly every year.
Nearly every year?
Yes, yes.
OK, so this isn't a conceit. This is very much a necessity.
It is. When we started building, we were lucky that year it didn't flood at all. So it was a costly build, and it took a long time, longer than expected.
For you, though, did the building deliver, in the end, what you expected it? Did it?
It delivered more than I expected. It's a dream come true.
Danny's project shares the ambition of this building, but with just £300,000 to spend, it'll have to come in at a fraction of the cost. Fortunately, evidence of Danny's penny pinching is everywhere. Now that is a dunny with a difference. He is so tight that he hasn't even bought a toilet roll holder, or a seat for that matter. Boy, does he know how to save money. 7 months into a year-long schedule, and it's hard to tell if Danny's been saving money or just not spending it. Progress has been painfully slow.
There was just some delays, really, between lots of engineering drawings, architects, so we didn't break ground till January. Probably underestimated that, if I'm honest, in terms of how long that would take.
I mean, what have you been doing?
Making deals, trying to get the best value we can for products.
Steel has gone up threefold in, what, 2.5 years?
Well, the steel came in probably around 10 grand more than we thought it was going to be. It will go over budget, but not because I've overspent, it's just purely because of the additional cost.
Because you can't control those additional cost rises.
Inflation rates are on the rise, and Danny now expects to spend £20,000 more than his original £300,000 budget. Of course, that means his project manager, Mike, has to ensure nothing goes amiss.
My concern is the connect between the two-storey and the single-storey where we've got the bridge link. I would hate there to be a ramp or a little step that occurs.
A few weeks later, and the 96 insulated timber panels have arrived.
So the whole house has arrived on the back of the lorry.
The wooden walls are placed onto a low loader and driven down the narrow lane to the site.
So you're feeling confident?
Yeah, I'm very confident.
But as the walls for this treehouse home go up, it seems some of the measurements have gone awry.
If you look at the connection between the bedroom pod unit and the main building, that steel should sit into that pocket. So technically it's about 300 millimetres too high. There seems to be a serious design error somewhere.
If the seamless join between the pods and the main building is to be maintained, then either the steels will have to come down or the timber frame built up. Either could cost thousands.
Significant difference. It'd be interesting to know who's expected to pay for it.
Danny is hoping to spend just £300,000 building a home for his 3 kids, including his eldest son, Casey.
I appreciate what he's obviously doing for us. I think there's much worse parents out there, I must say.
Danny's motivation for building this home is undoubtedly his children. But as his long-hoped-for dream rises up from the slab, it seems that some of the measurements are less than perfect.
Your steel comes across on the bedroom pods to the main building. That appears to be about 300 mil too high.
The tricky junction between the steel and timber is wildly out, and now Mike has to discuss it with everyone concerned and find an inexpensive solution.
It's me that has to find the problem, communicate the problem to everybody, and the solution, and tell the client it's all going to be all right. And I tell you what, you're walking a tightrope sometimes with it. Simplest solution is 2 steps up there. You go up your 13 steps, turn around, come up and go 2 more steps to go into the bedroom.
That's not atypical to have a staircase and a return.
I think that's the simplest solution, and the most economical solution.
2 extra steps in this house will of course change the effortless flow of the interior, but it does mean work can continue, and it does, quickly. By the following week, all the walls for the timber frame are up, and the roof can be lowered into position.
This is our 8th day on site. Timber frame build will be 11 days, I think.
By early autumn, the first of the glazing arrives.
This is the first time I've seen the windows, by the way, so I've not actually seen them. They're absolutely gorgeous. Really nice, then.
Fast progress is expensive, and Danny's now spent all the £200,000 he made from the sale of his bungalow.
I've literally just run out of money now. I'm in that transition between spending my money and getting my mortgage, so I've got a couple of weeks gap there where if somebody says to me, I need some money, and they're going to have to do a few little delaying tactics.
As the cash flow creaks, Danny's doing all he can to keep money coming in.
I've got a guy coming to buy some logs, making a few quid, 65 quid a builder's bag.
It's taken a little over 2 months to transform this site from a few steel struts to an almost watertight shell. Danny's building has arrived. Lo, there is a building, hidden. You sort of can't quite see how much is there. Though there's a lot more than when I was last here. Across the threshold. Ooh. It's kind of really progressed. I mean, there's a man up a ladder putting in cabling. It's first fix. Right, first floor. Oh my word, the steps of doom. Look at this. Look. This is meant to be flush. The difference is so huge, however, that it actually does look deliberate. The only concern I have is that when this staircase goes in just here, whether or not this change in level between what is effectively two buildings, whether that's just going to feel like some kind of Victorian boarding house. You know, when you said that the floors would meet just like that, I mean...
You asked me what concern I had, and I said that was my one concern.
Yeah, it's like the top of the floor met the bottom of the other one.
Which I knew this would come back. It's the depth of the easy joist where the problem arises. So it's taken a while to figure out where it was, but it is the depth of the easy joist.
Let's be grown up and not apportion blame, but whose fault is it?
I wouldn't like to say, actually. Completely down to miscommunication or lack of communication.
It has cost £500 for Danny's new steps, a cost that Mike has gallantly taken responsibility for. But Danny's cost saving is relentless. When it comes to lifting in the final glazing panels, he doesn't hire an expensive crane.
I can sort it. Patience. Don't worry.
But instead, a much cheaper local farmer, Dave.
Can somebody communicate, please? You can't hear a thing.
After some highly coordinated manoeuvres, the panels safely reach their destination.
Just patience. Never rush about. Patience. That's what you've got to have. You could rush about and it could drop off, and I said, not to do with me.
Of course, the most delicate part of any job on this site is negotiating a price.
How much do you want then?
What's it worth to you?
I think a fair price is 50 quid to you. You've had 2 sausage rolls. I'll tell you what then. I'll do it for 60 if when you do seed and roof for us at the same price.
What's putting the seed and roof on?
Yeah, you don't have to lay it, just lift the pallets up. Deal? That's it now. I'm over budget now.
As winter looms, Danny gets his mortgage, and the project gets another injection of pace. There's no plumbing in the bedroom pods, so he's invested in an innovative electric heating system.
This house is being heated by an infrared radiant heating system. What it actually does, rather than actually heating the air within a space, it actually heats all the objects within a room.
The thin foil infrared sheets are simply taped up between the ceiling joists under the insulated roof. No pipes here, just wires. Relatively quick to install and cheap to run, much like Danny's labour force.
It's been a busy time. There's lots of us helping out. You know, all unpaid labour, that's what it is.
Danny and an army of friends and family can now take on the internal insulation and prepare the exterior for the cladding, as the project does battle with inflation.
No plumbing required. I think I've timed it about the worst possible time ever to build the house, if I'm honest. And it is, at times, overwhelming. It's tough, and I think it's probably showing in my demeanour, and friends and family have certainly noticed it.
Yeah, he has been quite stressed, especially this last few weeks. Concerns about if everything is going to go okay.
Every project creates stress, of course, but with high interest rates and mounting inflation, Danny must absolutely focus on the project's primary goal, the provision of a childhood he never had.
What are you looking forward to, Grace?
Everything. Like fishing off the balcony and climbing trees and me pushing you off the tree into the water.
And when are you told you're going to be able to move in? When's Dad say you can get in?
Christmas maybe.
Yeah, go on.
But I doubt it.
So when do you think you'll be in?
About 10 years.
That's nice. The early delays scuppered Danny's original 12-month schedule. And as his old deadline elapses, his house is just beginning to function. So where's your stuff then?
So our stuff's actually up in the ceiling behind the plasterboard.
You've plastered it in?
Yeah.
Invisible perhaps, but not with an infrared camera.
If I point this out, oh my lord, it's like it's like a magic trick.
You've got a sun
Suddenly, yeah, no, it looks like I'm looking at a bunch of spotlights, you know, a bunch of fluorescents, like a big in an office.
The infrared panels are now imparting heat into the room with an unseen light.
The infrared's heating me,
yeah,
but not heating the air in between us.
Technologically sound on the inside, yes, and outside, naked of cladding. It's looking pretty sci-fi too.
So I think your house now looks like a silver robot.
It is a big silver robot at the minute, you're right. But soon it will be much more subtle.
That subtlety is already appearing in the form of durable, heat-treated timber cladding. It's costing £15,000 more than Danny wanted to spend. But it's almost half the cost of the cedar cladding he'd planned.
Inevitably, with things going up in cost, you know, because of fuel and the war, etc., you've really got to work hard to get the best price possible. The house has always been about nothing superfluous. It's keeping it simple, like me, and working for me and the family.
To further protect the budget, Danny's taken on much more of the finishing work himself, like the decking outside. And it would seem this last push needs the biggest effort.
You get to about 80 miles in a 100-mile bike ride and you're knackered, and it becomes a psychological battle. And it's really, really similar to this, actually. You know, you've done the hard work, you've done that 80 miles, and now it's that last sort of 20 miles. And that's where this takes over. If you overanalyse it, you'd never start. I'll be glad when it's done. Yeah, I'll be glad when it's done.
The building is a set of simple, pure shapes, and these careful finishing touches will define it.
What a beautiful, tranquil little spot this is. Sort of begs a question, doesn't it? I mean, not the usual kind of question. Will Danny run out of cash? No, I don't think he will. Will he take forever finishing it? No, he's on the home straight. No, the question is really whether this building will honour this place, whether it will be, in its own way, as beautiful. Yes.
The expansive terrain of North Lincolnshire has served as the backdrop for Danny's entire life. Almost 2 years since I first met him, I'm hoping this secluded corner of the county has been transformed.
Well, the solar panels are in. There are plenty of them. The garage is built. But how's it? Can't tell.
Once just the bottom of their garden, these trees now cradle a new home for Danny and his children.
How about that? It appears to be done. That's a tree kissing a finished building.
Even when I stand at the front door, this building wants to half hide in its green canopy, the timber cladding happily at one with its living cousins.
Oh, hi, Danny.
Hey, Kevin, how are you?
Yeah, I'm really well. How are you?
Very well, very well.
Congratulations, because this looks really something else.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
No, it really is. A good building should look interesting from far away, and as you get closer to it, it should get better and better.
And this does that, because it glimpses and teases you. How long have you been living here?
A couple of months now.
Oh, great.
Yeah, a couple of months, yes. Enough time to get settled in and...
How exciting.
And start to relax.
You're a man who doesn't do too much in the way of relaxation. So I'm wondering how easy that's been.
Yeah, it's not been an overnight thing, and all the sort of stresses and strains of building has just melted away as opposed to just disappeared.
Danny has stayed resolutely true to the intentions of the original design here. There are embellishments, like the delicate chain-link water drains around the undercroft beneath the pods. Can we go on a walk through this beautiful forest?
Under the house, yeah?
I just always thought this would be the most glorious experience, and it is. Look at this. Beautiful stuff. And silver. I mean, like the silver birches over there. I mean, each one is almost individual.
Just like the trees, they really reflect the trees, don't they? Bit of bling, we've got some of the LED lights.
You've actually splashed out on something.
Stop that. I splashed out on lots of things. I got a good deal on them, though.
I bet you did. Emerging from the gloom, you turn to face a building that revels in its setting. Look at this. The trees don't want to hide it anymore. It's so splendid. Fully exposed, this place still retains a lightness of touch, not least thanks to the long views through the site. What is beautiful this side is just how complex the building is. You know, how it kind of wraps and folds, the cladding around the boxes, the shadows. When the sun comes out, you get these smaller shadows through the building and around the building, which is just great.
It's just changing all the time. Everything's growing now and it's just become more and more subtle. It's a beautiful setting, beautiful trees, and I think the house is worthy of its setting.
That's a good point, because, of course, you could have screwed it up.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I came out the other morning, and on top of the balustrade, there's a kingfisher sat there. It's a lovely place to be.
I bet it bloody is. It all seems refreshed by an unfeigned, adventurous spirit. The balcony and living roof speak of a rigorous simplicity, but all the hard timber corners are softened by reflected branches. This structure is a world away from the low-lying bungalow up the road where Danny used to live. Sometimes when people move from conventional home into something like this, they suffer imposter syndrome. Do you feel that this is... is there a bit of you that thinks, I'm not quite sure this is mine yet?
It's quite surreal. You still wake up thinking, is this actually happened?
Do you see it delivering with your own kids?
To see them outside playing, swimming in the pond, fishing, and just enjoying it, climbing trees, you know. Yeah, I guess it's a nod back to childhood and innocence and the simplicity of life.
I'm glad we talked outside, because so much of this project is about all this.
Absolutely,
isn't it?
yeah.
And being out here is...
Inside's a bonus.
Oh, come on then.
Yeah.
Let's go and explore the bonus.
Okay.
This strong exterior shows no sign that the place was built on a budget. And inside, Danny's uncluttered interior feels anything but cheap. Love this space. It's very straightforward. The big story here is what's out there and the connection that it makes in. Yeah, it was like a boat being pulled along this river, like the whole building is about to start moving. The views out profoundly alter this modest home. Rectangular portholes tease you forward towards the main act, the large deck and pond.
This is what I envisaged. Simple, functional, and then just enjoying what's on the outside.
So I'm guessing your kitchen is... Oh, you'll have done a deal or something. Did it fall off the back of a lorry or what?
And it didn't fall off the back of a lorry. It was a mate. A good friend did the kitchen, the bathrooms, the utility rooms, the wardrobes, the bedrooms, en suites, so the full shebang for 26k.
Oh my word.
I've ended up using people I know to do pretty much all of the inside. And it's not just necessarily the price where you're saving, but they're doing you a really good job. You know, you don't mind paying, even if it's full whack. Well, you do mind paying full whack. But what's more important is you get the quality workmanship as well.
I want to explore the pods. And also, I want to visit the Step of Doom.
I always thought this could compromise this building, and yet, weirdly, it seems all right.
It's turned out really, really well, and I think it's a real success because it's a step into a different part of the house. It's a real demarcation.
Danny's balconied bedroom suite and the family bathroom are all on this level, meaning there's no need for cumbersome plumbing in his treetop pods.
Oh, I like that view. That's clever. But I particularly like this view. Wow. You're in a treehouse.
Yeah.
And it's telling you that all the time. The building's amazingly simple, but the views are constant pull and delight, and the diversity and change, you know?
These pods house 3 simple bedrooms, and because the heating is hidden in the ceiling, there are no annoying radiators to distract you from the mesmerizing views. This solar-powered electric home, its walls thick with insulation, will be uber efficient and cheap to run. Of course, the functionality of this home is of little interest for the primary occupants.
What's your plan for this place?
Huh.
Have you got any plans?
Making a total mess.
Trashing the place?
Yes.
How do you feel about your dad doing all this?
It's impressive, definitely. It's different, and everyone loves a bit of difference, don't they?
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
I don't.
Just be cheeky, aren't you?
Shut up.
Yeah, you know you like it. You know you like it. As I say, you'll love it when you bring your girls back. Tell you.
The boys might enjoy the street cred of living in a floating house, but Grace, she's more in tune with the connection this building makes to its surroundings.
I don't wake up with a view of the trees. What's it like in the morning?
Well, when I wake up, I look out my window for at least an hour.
What have been the best things you've seen so far?
Probably the robins. It's out of that window there.
Oh yeah, on the birch tree.
And watch the clouds go by.
Your dad, how do you feel about him now, about what he's done here?
I'm proud of him.
Do you think that you would ever do the same thing? Would you build a house, do you think?
Yeah, definitely.
This house will not only protect Danny's children, it'll help to teach them, nourish them, and possibly empower them to follow their own dreams. What more could any parent want for their child?
Have you got your old Danny back yet?
Yes.
Because Danny, project manager, was quite fearsome, I thought.
He had his moments, yes. Yeah, it's more chillax now.
Oh, very good.
That's a modern saying, isn't it? Chillax, yeah.
Do you wander in and say, oh, you just need a few more things in here?
Well, yes, I do. But I'm working on that, and that will happen.
I mean, how important do you think this building is to him?
Well, it's definitely his forever home.
Yeah.
There's going to be so many memories made here, it's going to be unbelievable.
Just great to see it actually done.
Yeah, even the birds like it. Can you hear them?
Any romantic vision in this project was always delicately balanced with Danny's focus on cost, a focus he maintained throughout a period of dramatically rising inflation.
You said to me you were going to spend 300 grand. And I immediately, at a slip of the tongue, just said 350, thinking it can't be 300. What was it nearer?
This is the point where you say I was right and
No,
you was
no,
wrong.
I'm not interested in that.
No. In terms of what I've cost to build a house for everything is 375.
Okay.
The build cost, yes, more, but borrowing cost was a real important part for me. I didn't want to end up with a house where I had a huge mortgage. Coming in at 375 is a massive success, and that's a testament to everybody who's helped with this.
Danny may say this home is for his children, but I'm beginning to see just how important it is for Danny too.
What would the 10-year-old Danny say to you? What would he think of this?
I don't think he would imagine in his wildest dreams that he'd be building a tree house and living in it with 3 amazing children. The 10-year-old Danny wouldn't have dreamed it.
Yeah.
There was lots of elements of my childhood that weren't great. Those things shape you, and for me to stand here and say, I'm proud of myself, it's important. Yeah, I've achieved something. I've put a lot of time and energy and been part of a huge team to get this done, and there's something tangible here to say, yeah, this is an achievement.
This building marks a new beginning for Danny and his children, and it promises great things for all of them. I'm pleased he says he's proud of this new home. He should be proud of it, and all it represents. You know, the thing that attracted me to this project in the first place was its ambitions to recreate the experiences of childhood, you know, in this glorious place. And yet, the process of building it was as fraught as you'd expect building to be, you know, driven all the time by Danny's almost military approach, his precision, his focus, his laser-like attention to detail. And all the time, he did not lose his focus on that single primary objective. That's remarkable. It's written in this finished building, of course. I mean, it's a house full of joy and wit and playfulness and fun, as you'd expect it should have in this setting. Yeah, it's a great place to grow up in and live in. It's a real return to innocence.